Hi there, this is Toby Houchins from Recon, and I'm talking to you from Washington, D.C. I'm inside just because the weather's not cooperating today, but just wanted to spend a couple of minutes talking about early indicators for threat assessment. And a lot of people are closely monitoring what's happening in the news with respect to civil unrest and protests and what it might mean for your business or your security program. And it's really important to put these things in perspective. And there's a lot of countering viewpoints on whether there's going to be mass and widespread unrest and property damage, etc., versus others that are thinking that this is all overblown and this has happened before in the past, and this will blow over eventually as well. Either way, whichever camp you fall into, it suffices to say that we need to monitor this anyway. And one of the things that you can do to monitor these things is to think about early indicators of threats. We all know how to watch the news and to aggregate news and to see what's already happened. It's a little bit more difficult to look at what's about to happen. And the way you do that is you think about what are indications that you're going to see more rampant violence, or you're going to see more protests, or people are going to start to take action as opposed to just talking or displaying inflammatory rhetoric. What makes people actually act? And so some of the things that you have to think about are motivations for human behavior. A lot of this is based on identity. It's based on your economic stability, your employment. What other competing opportunity cost activities do you have? And also, feeling displaced or feeling like you don't belong. These are things that can provide, fertile recruiting ground for extremists and for causes and for protests that are looking to build their ranks. So when you're looking for the likelihood of threats becoming violent, there's a lot of factors that you look at, but some of these involve looking at the economic indicators, looking at unemployment, looking at chatter, across open web, deep web, dark web. There's a lot of things that you need to look at, and are people feeling disenchanted? Which groups can start to come together? When you look at planned protests that are in the future, look at, are there any counter protests? Who all is going to be there? And what is the probability that there's going to be some kind of a conflict in that? So when you're doing threat assessments, you really need to look at some of these leading indicators, and there's hundreds and thousands of them altogether. And that's what we do at Alpha Recon, is we look at some of these leading indicators to try to determine as soon as possible when there might be a threat that turns into a real risk and can possibly impact you or your loved ones or your business or your organization. So just wanted to talk about that a little bit, and stay safe, everybody. There are some protests planned for this weekend, and there will be counter protesters there, and these things are best to avoid if you can, and make sure that you're monitoring the situation very closely so that you can avoid these things. But pay attention. We'll be posting a lot of information on some of the groups that are associated with some of the protests, and we'll be trying to provide some help to keep people out of trouble wherever we can. But thanks very much, and until the next time, I'll talk to you later.